easy patterns for people, just because it's I don't know. I wanted to start off with something small and easy, I suppose, so that I wasn't leaving somebody with this big beading project if it was their first time.
Mm-hmm.
And if they couldn't finish it, I wanted them to be able to finish it on their own. So I would just look like trying to find easy ones. Because for me, I can just see something and beat it, but I don't want to just do that to somebody else. Because I was frustrated when I first started. So
yeah.
So I'm just starting right now. I'm just stringing my needle through, or my string through my needle, sorry. Get going here. But yeah, no, that's very interesting to know. I like hearing cool things, like that's pretty cool.
I think how you say turtle in Anishinaabe, like shike or ashika or ashike, like shike.
Yeah, I'm not really good with the language. It's hard for me to learn the language.
Yeah, I
like literally know.
I can't remember what
maybe like 5 animals.
I try to buy a book so that I can like practice, but then I don't even know if I'm saying it right. So I'm like, I don't even know if I'm reading this right.
Sure, it's quite a learning curve.
Yeah, and I'm just like I don't know, it's difficult for me.
Like the A's sound like a U, I think. That's sort of like the way it's spelled. It looks like A, but you pronounce it like instead of damn, you'd say dumb. Like looking at Nimigwech Wendam it means I am thankful.
Can you say it again?
Nimigwech Wendam. I'm just like looking at this chart.
Oh, okay. I'm like, just learning from you. I'm like, say it again. I got my needle through my string now. See, sorry guys, I know we're just talking and stuff.
That's all good. So you're doing a turtle. You have a turtle?
Yeah. So, having a hard time with my kids right now. So like, I forgot to print out the pattern for myself, so I just made my own little pattern. Like, I just drew it. But we did post the picture of the real pattern in the chat for anybody who would like to go on and print it off or just like take a look at it. So I'm just gonna start off with this little turtle. And
awesome.
And then
where did you get, or could someone resend the pattern if they have it?
Sarah, did you check the chat?
It's on the Google Doc. What's that? Oh, is it? Okay.
Cool. And usually, like, when if I do print off a pattern or if I start with something and I need to put it on here, I usually I put it on and then I just sew it.
Nice.
Sew it down.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been like kind of cleaning up papers and I found this one that I want to do. It's like a tulip.
Okay.
And I just drew that.
Yeah, see? That's pretty much what I do. And then I just like sew it on. So I just like start from the back and just keep it on like that. And then it just stays on to the palette or whatever. I don't know. People call it so many different things. Felt, palette.
I should, I know someone that would want to do the turtle pattern because they're a turtle fan. So they always have like turtle everything. It's like how everyone is.
Yeah.
At least my Kokum, like she collects all these bears.
That's what I'm doing. My next one, I'm doing a bear paw. My next beading.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that too. Is there bear fun?
Yeah. And
in fact,
sorry, keep going.
I cleaned up my closet and like she went through the clothes and she's just like all excited because I had a bear paw.
Aw. Oh, nice. But yeah, see, I just sewed on a piece of paper my little pattern on here. And then I just start. So For me, I'm probably going to start with the head. So I'll start with the eyes with the one black. And you can't, okay, wait. We'll show you how I just did that.
When you do like a circle, do you do like a, I guess you do like a, you start from the outside or you start from the inside out?
For me, I start on the outside and I go in only because sometimes beads move. And I find it easier to fill it in like that instead of going one bead, because I always end up one bead in the middle. But like another thing that you can do, like say if you don't want to do all this middle, you can also put it like get a gem, like, you know, like have these little gems.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and you can get like a round gem and just like, this isn't the right gem obviously, but just like glue it in there so that you have like a sparkly, and then you would just bead around it and then put the legs on and stuff like that after. That's an easy way too, but I didn't have a pattern to actually show how to do that, and I didn't want to leave anybody hanging that didn't know how to bead. So I just try to get ones that you can see, and like for the turtle, it's dots, so for each dot that's a bead. So when you're doing it,
and then you're sewing on the felt or whatever it's called right now, and are you starting the beads? You said you're starting with the eyes. How do you start it, like make it stay?
Okay, so so on the top I have 4 little dots. I have one black one, so I'm gonna get one black, and then there's 2 light greens, so we're gonna put 2 light greens on. And for beginners, I'd start off, when I started beading, I started off with 4 beads, because the less you have until you get it down, the straighter your line's gonna be. So like I have these beads on here right now, these 4 beads. I'm gonna put them on. So, oh my.
That's okay.
So I'm gonna fix it to where I'm gonna put one more extra on, just because I drew it bigger than the beads actually are. Okay. Like it's flat right now, and then the beads are on the string, and then what I do is I hold it down like that. At the very last bead, I pin through the string like that, and then I push, I don't know if you guys can see, I push my needle through the back and I pull it. So now the beads are on there. And to make them stay, I come up every second bead. So I skip 2 and I come up. And then I know it's kind of hard on myself a little bit, but I'm gonna make it work. So every second bead, I come in and I go over and I just sew it down. I sew every second bead down so that it's tight. All right, I made the string super long, so it's messing with me. And then it stays. And then every second bead you do that, and it stays tight. Did that help, Cece?
Yeah, that did help, because I always wondered, like, how do they stay there? Like, okay, I know how to put the bead on the string, but how do you make them like stay?
Yeah. So
yeah.
So like, okay, so I did one line. I know my drawing's big, but.
And then you just kind of go line by line like that, all the way down?
For the head, yeah, and then it starts to go into a circle. So once you do the head, and then you just do the circle, and then I would just start going in and in and in.
Okay.
Until you're left with one bead in the middle.
Okay.
And like,
I feel like an epiphany.
And like I'm just gonna tell you, I do a little trick. Like sometimes I'll color underneath. So like, say if I'm doing like a line of green, I'll color the hole underneath the beads green, just where I'm beading, and then I'll put the beads over so that you don't have any white spaces, so you don't see the spots. So it just looks like your beading's real tight, but really it's just colored.
That's smart.
Yeah.
It's a good trick, yeah, for sure.
Like, lots of people are like, you're not supposed to tell people. And I'm like, but why not? You know what I mean?
Well, no shame, right?
Yeah.
That's art. Some people are like,
yeah, I love that trick. It's my favorite one. So, okay, yeah, I have the beads on again. So I'm just going to put them like that, and I'm going to hold the string. And at the very end, I'm going to pinch my needle through. Oh, sorry. Pinch my needle through, and then pull them on there. And then I go back in every, oh, it's a little bit crooked. And then I go back every 2 and sew. But if you just start off with 4 beads, for a beginner, I find it's easier for your line to be straight. I'm gonna try and come with
makes sense.
So like I go back 2, I go up, I sew it down. I go 2, and like it's time processing. Like you're gonna, because it's small, you're gonna think, oh yeah, it's gonna take me a little bit, but it actually takes a lot of time. So just try and be patient. And it took me a long time to like even finish my first one. That's why I didn't want to start off with something so difficult. Do you see those 2 lines?
I actually do.
And yeah, and you just keep going, and I want to keep going until I get to the circle so I could show you guys the circle part.
Awesome.
So that you guys know, I don't want to leave you guys hanging. If anybody wants to add me on Facebook or message me for any questions, you are also welcome to do that.
Thanks, Britt.
Yeah. I'm just gonna, I know I wish I could just sit on here and just show you how to bead the whole thing, but.
No, this is really valuable, like, because a lot of people just think it's like common sense or something, but I didn't know how to start a line or how many beads to use or just like little things. So like even just having that talk before I try it, like I think I'll be like more confident.
Yeah, and like, well, my aunt too, like she wanted beadwork done, but she didn't want to pay me. And I'm like, you want me to do this big project? Sorry, guys. You want me to do this big project and like, you know, like, and then she's like, well, I'll do it myself. And I was like, okay. And she tried, and she's like, okay, I'll pay you. And I was like, see, because they think it's so easy. But it is once you get it down, you just can't give up on yourself when you first try. Because sometimes, like, it took me like a little bit to get my line straight. But everybody's different, so you could.
Maybe I'll pick it up and just be automatically.
Your first try, yeah.
I'm not usually good at things I first try. It usually takes a couple times, but maybe I could.
Yeah. But at least you know, like, okay, we'll have to be patient, and like, because the beads are like, they're very small. I'll show you. Like this is the size of a bead. They're so little.
So tiny, and
yeah.
So how long have you been beading for?
I don't know the exact, but I want to say like I started like, I feel like before Garrett was born. Garrett just turned 8. So like, yeah, for like a while now.
Yeah, at least 8 years, but longer. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, like, yeah. So that's why I was like, oh yeah. But then I thought about it, and I was like, well, I don't want to do that because of that. And then I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, beading's actually kind of hard. So So I just tried to go online and find the easiest beading patterns that I wasn't leaving anybody hanging.
No, I think you picked a good one. And especially like because I'm like watching too, it's still entertaining. Like I feel like I'm like learning.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everybody likes a turtle, right? So
everybody loves turtles. Who doesn't love turtles?
I think I need to get like some tracing paper because like I want to bead 2 of these. I'm just like looking.
Do you have a printer?
Yeah, well, yeah, I do, but I don't really like use it.
Okay.
You could just trace off your computer. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I don't see why not either.
If I have like, oh, you mean like computer paper? Like
no, just like, well, maybe computer paper, but if you put the paper over your computer screen, you could probably trace right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah, there's like computerized programs. There's like someone was telling me a new one.
I'm almost at the circle part, guys, and then I'm gonna show you how to do a circle.
I'm excited for that too, because that's like basically earrings.
I'm just doing lines. I was gonna do earrings, but I was scared. I wasn't.
That's okay.
Be able to teach in 1 hour.
I'm gonna. This is like. I think this is too big for earrings, but I was gonna make hair ties out of it.
Oh, that's cool. Well, like 5 years ago, I didn't even like know any of this stuff. I didn't know like any of my language. I didn't know about any of the crafts. I didn't know about teaching or ceremony. Like I literally just knew like powwows and sage.
Well, like you know what? Me too, kind of. But like, I knew how to bead, obviously, but I wasn't beading. Like I was beading, but for a long time, I quit for a while because my kids too, and like and like just like recently, I just like I don't know. Well, not like recently, like a little while ago, I just was going to like a concert, and then I ended up making a Mercury's medallion and got it signed by him, and then everybody just kept making orders after that one.
There you go.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh yeah,
I think I figured out what to do. I'm just gonna use like a marker so it'll like show through regular paper, so I don't have to buy tracing paper.
Oh yeah,
that's what I would do too.
Like, when you're a little kid and you make bubble letters and you color them in.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Wow, that's awesome. I thought you were like beading right now.
No, I don't have it. I'm actually at the group home, so I hang up. That's why.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I actually did have a kit for you guys. But when you came to friggin' I have no needle to give you, so I didn't want to give you everything but a needle.
Well, I have needles.
You have needles?
Because remember from the ribbon search?
Yeah, but you need
like sewing needles.
You need a beading needle.
You need a special needle.
Yeah, I use these ones. They're called Gold Eye. I was gonna say Eagle Eye for some reason. They're gold tips at the end, and they're very short, so when I'm beading, they don't bend.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Well, they do bend a little bit, but not like a big one. Because I don't know, for me, I'm very picky when I bead. Like I can't stand a long, big, bendy needle. So I
probably would get annoyed too.
Yeah, and I feel like these ones are like thicker, so they don't bend as easy. Okay, so I'll show you what I have done now. Like the top little head part here. not really used to using patterns either because I've been beading so long. I'm used to just looking at something and I just start beading it. So it's a little bit crooked right now, but it won't be when I'm done.
It looks really nice.
That's another thing I want to tell you guys too, because that's like, I struggle with that all the time. When you first start beading something, I feel like it always looks funny at first, but when you're done the whole entire thing, it's gonna look actually really awesome. Because I do that to myself all the time, and I'm like, oh, it looks funny, I can't. But really, if you just leave it alone and you just keep going and you do the whole thing, it doesn't look like that at the end. It actually looks really good, and nobody's going to be able to tell, even if you do make a mistake. Just so you guys know, because I do that to myself all the time.
Those are good words of encouragement.
Just because, like, I know, like, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, oh, I could have done this a little bit better. But I know that if I just leave it alone and I finish it, it'll look fine at the end. And I'll be like, oh, I'm so proud. So I'm going to do the circle now because I got the head, but I'll show you guys again one more time. Because, I just want to, because you guys asked about the circle part too, I want to make sure that you guys understand what I mean. So there's, like, the head part. I got the 2 eyes on top. And even if you don't, like, I have, like this bead right here and this bead right here sticking out. Even, like, at the end, you could always go around. You can always go around with, like, a bling or something later too. If something, you know, if there's, like, a hole or something you don't like. I also do that all the time too. Right now I'm beading with 8 beads, but only because I only have 1 hour and I really want to show you guys.
So size 8 is pretty small.
Is that the beads you're using? Size 8?
I don't know even. I don't even remember.
Are they super, super, super tiny?
No. I think they must be 13s.
Okay, because I was going to say you might have 11s too, because that's what I use.
Well, maybe that's what I have. Yeah.
Yeah, because 11,
somewhere.
like,
I don't think it's that small.
No, it's not. It's small, but it's not as small as.
They're smaller.
Yeah. There could be smaller.
It's like the medium beads.
Yeah. I know. I'm just gonna pin down these and I'm gonna show you. Yeah, like, and anytime, like, anybody's ever beading and anybody needs, like, any tips or, like, anything like that, you guys can always message me or something like that. I can always help. I'm always willing to help. Okay. So I already, like, pinned it through, but they're not so down yet. So when you're doing your circle, you want to, like, kind of, like, put your nail or, like, your finger, like that, so you're curving it into a circle, because if you just go, it's gonna go straight, and you want it to turn now. So if you just put your finger kind of like that, and then sew. Don't sew your finger though. Like, kind of like, because I already have this put down right there, but if you kind of just do that, it helps to, like, to curve. Yeah, and I find every time I do that, it's always better. Turns out better. Just don't sew your finger. So if I'm just doing that. I know it's kind of hard on my cell phone.
No, you're doing good.
And then that's how I would start. So I'd just make my head, and then I'd make the line, and then I'd start my circle off. That's how I would do it, and then I would go in and in and in. But obviously there's different colors in here, so that's when you start counting your beads. So on the top you'd put 6, and then on the bottom you put 5. So if you don't count, you're just going to be 1 or 2 beads off, but which I don't think wouldn't matter. But
I guess like on a bigger project you'd be able to see that difference, but like on a smaller project it wouldn't.
Yeah. And if it's your first time, then I wouldn't worry about it. And like I'm pretty sure on the one in the actual real picture, it's only like 3. I think it's like 3 green, 2 light, 3 dark green, 2 light green, 3 light. But I didn't have a skinny enough crayon, so so they're like super big on here. So yeah, if you just count like 3 dark, 2 black, 3 dark, 2 black, and you just keep following that, then you'll be fine.
This is totally awesome because I've been wanting to get back into like trying. Like I've only dabbled in beading. So I've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Yeah, well, if you ever need any help or anything, you can always message me. You're starting.
I did. This is like the first thing I did.
Hey,
this is like super simple though.
Yeah, but that's cute, and that's pretty good for your first time.
I made this mitt.
That's pretty cool too. Do you want to see mine? I want to show you. Well, I'll show you after.
Yeah. Show and tell.
It's actually part of what I beaded.
It's pretty like simple for the first thing to try. But it's not tight at all. Like I could totally go over this.
I made these ones.
Wow, those are gorgeous.
Thank you. I did the beadwork on them too. It was my first time ever beading on leather.
Oh, nice.
My fingers were just sore after.
My friend Cher gave me this pattern. It's like her pattern.
Yeah, see? That's beautiful.
My friend Rena does this type too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And if you keep like beading, like yours will look like that too. Like,
oh yeah, no, this is mine, but it's like her pattern.
Oh yeah,
she gave me the pattern. This is like the first like real
thing
that I did.
That's pretty. Super sparkly and pretty. I love it.
I know. I have lots of sparkly beads too. I just love collecting beads, but not doing anything with them.
Me too. And I didn't want to start off with delicates or 2 cuts or 3 cuts because I find that they're a little bit harder to bead with. And if I start off with some seed beads and get everybody into the pattern and used to doing a line and used to beading something, then they can slowly go on to those ones, because I find it even for myself and beading for so long, I still find myself like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Well, it's just like, I don't know. I find every time I try, everybody's like, oh, it's not as straight as yours, but those beads aren't exactly even either. So it's,
yeah.
Except for the delicas. The delicas are even, but not the like.
Ooh, I like those so much. They're so.
I know, me too. Seed beads and Delcas are my favorite because everything I can make like a perfect thing with them. Does anybody else have any questions? Any more questions?
I'm doing good over here.
Okay. I'm still just working on this circle. So yeah, I just got half a circle done here. Still gonna go around and then.
Do you think that I should like do this twice on a graph paper, or would you just leave it alone? Just like
you need both of those?
Yeah, like because I was gonna make two. Like, do they look like alike enough, or do they look different?
I can't see. Can you put the the one on the? They look the same to me.
Okay.
Just make sure when you do one, like I didn't for these mitts, but I probably should have. Like when you do one, count how many beads you put in each thing, and then put the exact amount of beads on this.
Yeah,
board.
Right.
They'll be the exact same.
More exact, yeah.
Yeah, I did it.
Cool.
Sometimes I don't because I don't have patience when my kids are driving me nuts, but yeah.
Everyone's kids are driving them nuts everywhere.
Yeah. Freaking quarantine.
Like this is cool because I actually like it better on the graph paper because you can like be more precise.
Me too, yeah. But if because right now I have a hard time too getting out. I wasn't able to get to the bead store. I really wanted to before these workshops, but I wasn't able to. So if you can't get somewhere, you're gonna have to.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up the beading. Just gotta work with what you have, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking I was gonna start a beading. I was like, I kind of just kept putting it off, and I was like, I'll just wait till next month. So this is good that I'm starting.
I get like that too, only because it's so time consuming. That I'm and then I'm not sure if you have kids or not, but by the time I'm done doing supper and cleaning up and doing, I'm oh, that's too small to look at right now. I'm gonna just relax. And then the same thing the next day, and I'm nah. But then once I get into it, sometimes I just do a whole bunch. And usually I have stands at powwow, that blonde powwow. I have a stand. So I'll fill up my little thing.
You probably won't get to powwow this summer. It'll be a year in the winter.
Yeah. No powwow probably. We had two in this winter. We had Sioux College and the university powwow. I think that was the last of the powwows we were gonna get.
Mm-hmm. Sabrina had a friggin' a $20,000 friggin' round dance going.
Really? When? Or did she already have it?
Well, it was supposed to be at the end of March when my brother got cancer. And she had a $20,000 budget. When you do that much planning and then it's just...
Yeah. That would have been awesome. That would have been so
cool.
The
same weekend as our NLC gathering too, so we would have gone to it.
Yeah. Right. So I'm at the end of my string now. I guess I should show you how to do this part too, because eventually you are going to run out of string. So I usually always try to cut your string off at the back. Try not to let your string like cut off at the front like this, because, well, there might be a way you can cover it up, but I feel like people will see it. So I usually, like, at least this short, long enough to tie it. I cut my needle off.
Nice.
And then I just tie it. Just like normal. Just to make sure that it stays. Just tie it and tie it again. And then I just like, cause it like just hangs there, and I don't like to get my string when I'm beading. So I just cut it. And then it just looks like that at the back. I'm almost done my circle. And you just have to restring the needle. So tiny.
Sorry about that.
All good. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So how far are you on your circle?
I was just gonna say, I just finished my friggin' circle.
Oh, nice. See, I think this is a perfect project, like as far as like a time where you're trying to start people off in an hour, like just for a learning experience. Because if you're just getting to the middle of your circle now, like it would just essentially people would just finish it off by themselves, right?
Yeah. So
It's
like I just finished like the round part, and so now that's where you'd start counting. So I'm pretty sure like on the actual real pattern it's 3 dark, 2 lights, and then 3 darks, 2 lights, and then you would just count, keep going until eventually you will only have 1 bead left in the middle.
And then how do you tie it off at the end? Sorry, it's just because we're almost at the end of the class, and I'm like, how do I end it?
So, well, when all your little like after you bead your circle, you have like the little tail and the feet, obviously, and it depends on if you want edging or not. So I'm just gonna go ahead. So after you're done beading, you cut off the string. You just cut off the string and you just tie it normally after every time. That, like, even on the last little bead too, you cut it off and you just tie it.
Okay, just like as if you're like sewing a knot or whatever.
Yeah, and then just make sure that the knots. So what I do after this part, let me see if I have something in this bag. Besides my bags of sage, hold on. Okay, so this is an example. So I beaded this before.
Okay.
And I'm just doing edging now. So what I do is I get a piece of cardboard. So like after this, I would cut out my turtle, cut it all out, and then it would look like something like this, and then I'd put cardboard on the back. So now it's hard.
Yes.
Now it's
okay.
You know, and then you get leather, and then you put the leather on the, and then you.
Oh, okay, so cardboard and then leather.
That's what I like. Lots of people don't do that, but it's actually feels solid after.
Okay.
Like it's like doesn't bend or flimsy. It's solid.
And do you just use like glue gun glue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I use glue gun, and then and it depends too if you do an edging. Some people only do like this kind of an edging, and they'll put the bling on. I call it bling. And then they'll put it along the edge like that. So that's like the easy way to do it. And if you don't, you can sew this on or you can glue it on.
Okay.
Because I know people who do both. And all you do to put this on is there's little holes in between them. I just go in through the first hole and then at the second hole, and I sew that part down. And if you keep doing it, eventually this whole thing will be sewed down.
Oh, okay. I always wondered how you did that.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll show you like a little, like, on something. Hold on. I had a girl last week too that asked me like what is this? I bought this shiny piece of thing, but I don't know how to do it. So usually I just start off like that. And it's a little bit difficult if you're doing like things like going around here. So you got to do a little bit at a time. That's why I do know some people who will just glue it on first and then sew it down.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just a pain in the butt, but yeah, and I just like start off with the first one. Oops, I didn't tie this. I didn't tie my string on my needle.
Yeah.
Do you think like is this like as good as using cardboard? This is that like I don't know white. What's that stuff called? And then the felt.
Yeah. See, it just gives it another layer besides the felt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is like the same thing as using cardboard.
Yeah, like I'm not sure. I can't feel how hard that is, but you know what cardboard feels like, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, so you know then.
You could use like kind of just the materials you have if it's similar, right?
Yeah. Anything like even just like a couple pieces of paper or something, just to make it a little bit harder. I like doing that. I like being a bit fancy or whatever. And like for this, like I started off in the first hole and then I just go to the second hole and I sew it down. Make sure it's nice and tight, and then it stays. And then eventually it'll all be sewed. So you just sew pretty much in the holes, each one, and it gives it a nice sparkle after. Nice shine.
So sparkly.
Yeah, and then I'll show you one more way to do another.
Oh, your camera.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Can you see me? My grandparents keep calling in, sorry. I'll show you on this one too. Okay, so like when you're all done and you have your cardboard on for this one, I'm gonna do this anyway, so. So you do the same thing, you put your needle, your string in your needle, and I go right as close to the beads as possible. And I usually do 6 for the edging, so 1, 2, because you don't have to sew anything down after this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I just go around, so I just go like this, around, and then I just go around, and then I go back in, and I come up right beside the next bead, and then I pull, and then the edge stays, and then you could do an edging like that, and it's like a little circle all the way around, and you don't have to sew anything down after that. You just put the 6 beads on,